What's up, guys? It's Ryan Small here at Winning with Ryan on social media. Today, I wanted to go over Usdjpy. Right now, we're on UJ Weekly, and as you can see, price has been moving somewhat on the downtrend, making lower highs and lower lows. So, first things first, I see a potential trend line from the top, potentially could start it here, or let's just start this one here and connect it to this point. So took it here, connected it to this point right here, and then drew it out into the future. So price potentially could pull up to this area, looking at it from that view. And then we also have a trend line, potentially from the bottom. Maybe you can start it from either this point, let's see, right here, and then connect it to that next point. Or you can connect it to this point right here. In this case, I'm going to connect it to this point. So now we have price moving in somewhat of a channel, waiting for overall breakout. Looking at this on a long-term view, we can see that price came from around 113 and shot all the way down to 105. And right now we had a correction back up to 111. So as this week closed, you got somewhat of a hammer close on the weekly. You got your my black EMA right now that's getting hit. We also have somewhat of a railroad track right here, so price may not even break back above this area. But let's just see with Fibonacci retracement where price can potentially go also. So you could draw it from either this high right here or this high right here. In this case, I can draw it from this high based on how I trade. Pull it down to this low. And as you can see, we got a 61.8 retracements, and that's where your railroads occurred. So right now, overall, I can see either price respecting this structure above here, maybe pulling back up to the 61.8, 110 area, finding resistance, and then dropping. And overall, price would need to drop back below 107. If it dropped below 107, it would come to 104. And if it came down to 104, more than likely it would go to the 103, 102 area, totaling about, let's see how many pips this trade could potentially be, here to here. So yeah, this could be about a 500 to 600 pip trade potentially. Long term, you would need price to break. You would need price to break certain resistances and supports or trend lines in order to put price to go down lower or higher. So for instance, if price were to come to 111 and break this trend line, it would more than likely come to the 112 area. And this is where I would see price possibly finding resistance if it were to make a higher retracement. So let's just have it come into the supply zone around this area if it needed to make a higher retracement. Okay. And overall, my stops would look something like this. This is the short position. I like to enter around 110. Stop loss above. TP down. Something like this. But for a better stop loss, this would be my my wide stop loss overall. Have it a little bit above the 113 area, but for a smaller short stop loss, you probably could have it a little bit above 112, like right that area. Move it like that. So my bias overall on UJ is going to be an overall swing trade back down to the downside. Potentially, I see price hitting 104 to 102 as my long-term basis. It may take a few weeks or a month or two to happen, but overall, I'm going to look this week for a possible sell setup. So if price can go to 110 and hold, I'm going to look to sell it there. If price were to pull back up around 112, I would look for that area for me to sell it around this trend line, the supply zone, and my 78 and 88.6 retracement. So it has a bunch of different scenarios of why I should sell in this area also. So that's just if UJ needs to pull up a little bit higher. If not, then I'm going to look to sell it probably Monday night, Tuesday night this week. So, yep, let's come down to the daily now real quick. That was just my overall weekly view. So now on the daily, you can see price held on this trend line, found support, pulled up. Looks like it's can potentially make a head and shoulders pattern, back up, make a right shoulder somewhere around this area potentially, and then look to drop back down to the 107 area and complete that leg. Or also for the bullish bias, is looking like this could be the new low and price could potentially make a new high above here, and then that would align with our selling zone. So those are my two scenarios. Patience is going to be key with this one, but if you guys are patient, you guys wait and do your analysis right, I think this one could potentially play out nicely for about at least a 400 to 600 pip gain back down to from 110 back down to 104 to 102. So overall, that's my analysis on UJ. Hope this video helps. If you guys can, subscribe to my channel and add me on social media at Winning with Ryan. Take care.